I'm tired. How about if we have a really easy day? Hey everyone, Cristin here, and we are continuing with the end. We're getting close to the end of our Ginger's Kitchen bench pillow. So I vote for a really easy day today. What do you say? Really easy, okay? So we have all of sections 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh my goodness, done. How cute is that? So adorable. I love this one. So we're going to start on section 5, and section 5 is actually quite easy. So we're going to do an easy day today. All right, so I'm thinking that we do Gingerbread Boy, and we only do Gingerbread Boy. It's a really simple block, and that's all we're going to do today. But really important, we will need to move the gingerbread boy on our quilting design. All right, so I'm going to tell you that right now. You have to make sure to move it. Super important. That's the big important announcement for today. Other than that, super easy day. All right, so if you made packets, grab your packet. The gingerbread boy is on page 7 of our PDF, and there's not too many things in it. I have double the things because I have all the substitutions from our wonderful sponsor, Binded by Stitches. They have done such a great job sponsoring our project. So, and I think they still have some. So if you haven't started on this, it's a wonderful, beautiful project. I highly recommend it. All right, so for our main fabric, so this is for the boy, the gingerbread boy. So the original fabric is this red plaid, red, black, and white plaid fabric. And we're going to start with this at 6.5 by 8.5. Make sure to back your main fabric with fusible stabilizer, 6.5 by 8.5. Now, if you bought from our sponsor, you would have received this red chevron, all right? And this one is not directional, this one is. So just keep that in mind when you're cutting it, all right? However you want your arrows to go, totally up to you. 6.5 by 8.5 backed with fusible stabilizer, whether it's the original fabric or the newer substitution. All right, 6.5 by 8.5. And then we have our applique piece, one simple applique piece. Oh, I'm very excited about that. I just realized that. So we have the original. This is the original one. This is the brown lattice. And I did back mine with fusible stabilizer. I like to do that on my applique pieces like I always tell you, but that's optional. Totally up to you. All right, so for this one, our applique piece for our gingerbread boy, it's going to be 5 by 6.5. All right, 5 by 6.5. And then our sponsor, this is the original older fabric if you bought years ago, but our sponsor, Binded by Stitches, they offered this brown, I think it's Starburst or Sunburst, probably Starburst. I think I generally call it Sunburst, but I'm not sure. But I could definitely be wrong on that. So either one of these fabrics, you want it to be 5 by 6.5, all right? I think I like that one. That's pretty darn cute. I like both. 5 by 6.5 for our applique piece for the gingerbread boy. All right, and then we have our batting. Our batting today is going to be 5 by 7, 5 by 7 for your batting. And then for the quilting, you can use any quilting design that you want that is 4 by 6. All right, you want a 4 by 6 quilting design, whatever you choose. I'm going to do Christmas 1. If I recall, that's the one with the gingerbread boys on it. Pretty sure. I keep getting them mixed up with the one that's the candy canes, but I'm going to go with Christmas 1 in a 4 by 6 quilting design. All right, 4 by 6 quilting design. And don't forget, we need to move it. So we're just going to do this one block today. I think I'm going to even do it in my 5 by 7 hoop. It's going to be a small, easy block, but we have to move that gingerbread boy. So I'm going to bring you over to the computer, and even if you are not using embroidery software, because you can move the gingerbread boy on your quilting design on your embroidery machine, but either way you want to see where to move it. So I recommend watching this next part, and I'm just going to show you where to move it. I haven't even looked at it yet, so I'm not absolutely sure yet myself, but I'm going to look at it in embroidery software on my big monitor. It makes it so much easier to see, and I'll show you how to do that. Whether you're using embroidery software or whether you're using your embroidery machine, we need to move that gingerbread boy. Okay, I am at my computer now, and I'm going to quickly show you how to move the gingerbread boy once we've brought in our quilting design. So I'm going to open up Embellishment Essentials. That is the embroidery software that I use. If you haven't invested in embroidery software yet, I highly recommend it. And if you do, please use my affiliate link. I'll point to it up here. Click on that and choose Embellishment Essentials. All right, so it will open up to the hoop size you use last. So it says I'm on my 6x10 hoop. I think we can do this in our 5x7 hoop, so I'm going to give that a try. So I'm going to go up here to this preferences folder, click on that, find my 5x7 hoop, and say okay. And then I'm going to click on this compass button and click H for hoop so it zooms into the hoop. All right, so we're going to start by bringing in the quilting design. So I'm going to go to Merge Stitch File, and I'm going to navigate to my quilting files, and I want Christmas 1 in a 4x6. Christmas 1, embroidery files, block by block. Pez is what I use for my machine, and I want a 4x6. I'm going to scroll down, and they're right there, 4x6. How cute with the gingerbread boys. All right, double click on that. It goes to the center. We want to leave that in the center. That's exactly where that needs to be. All right, and then we're going to bring in our gingerbread boy. So I'm going to go to Merge Stitch File, and I'm going to close up the quilting files and bring in the embroidery files right there. Paz is what I use for my machine, and I'm looking for the gingerbread boy. There's the gingerbread girl that we moved. All right, so we need to do the same for the boy. Where is he? There he is. And that's interesting. He's in the lower left corner, and on the picture, he's in the upper right-hand corner. So that means when we sew them together, we're going to turn him around. All right, so double click on him. He will go to the center, which that's interesting. So that's why we have this big box here to be able to help him be centered. So let's just take a look here. So if I click on just the boy, so they've got a placement stitch here to help us guide to where he should be. There's another stitch. You can see this blue square all the way around. I'm not sure if that's for digitizing purposes or to hold the fabric in place, but we don't need it because we are doing our quilting, so that's not going to matter. But we're going to use all of this to help us center where it is. So right now, so it's kind of hard to see. So if you're using your embroidery machine especially, it will be a little bit harder to see. So I'm going to show you on my monitor here. So if I look at the design, so let's say I'm going to click outside. That helps. All right, so I'm going to click, I clicked outside, so nothing is selected. So this inner orange box here, this is the placement and tack down of our batting. And this outer orange box here, that is the placement and tack down of our main fabric. Those are both in the quilting designs in this first design. All right, and so that's what we want to use to be able to line up our ginger boy. So right now, the way they have it is this blue line goes even past the placement of our main fabric. So it's like on the edge of the hoop, basically. So we have, so right here, so placement and tack down of our batting and placement and tack down of our main fabric. All right. So if I were to, I'm going to show you a couple of things here. So if I click on just the ginger boy, not the embroidery design, keep that by itself, or not the quilting design by it, leave that alone. We just want to click on the ginger boy. Now I'm going to take it, I'm going to click on H, on the compass, sorry, and then I'm going to bring this crosshair down here so that I can zoom in so you can see this part here. All right, so now if I have the gingerbread boy selected, so if I were to move that gingerbread boy, so what I feel like it should be is if I move him to the batting placement right there, I'm using this orange line, which is the side of the gingerbread boy. If I were to do that, look at how far out that, this is past the hoop size here. I'm going to go back up to this compass button and click H for hoop so we can see all of it. So you can see it's over the hoop, that whole blue outer line there. But So one thing I want to point out, so see, he's right on our batting line, which is really kind of where we want him to be, because if you think about it, we've got that 1/4 inch seam allowance. So we want him right on the edge, which is where he is right now. But see how this is kind of at an angle? Nobody's going to notice this, but if you, I'm going to zoom in on it. See how there's this tiny bit that is not right on that batting. So if we were to line him right up with our placement and tack down of our batting, you would have to make sure to get your 1/4 inch seam allowance exactly right. Otherwise, you're going to see this little stitching. So this is just a little bit of stitching that's going to go along the edge. And a lot of people were talking about that with their ginger girl, that if you don't get your 1/4 inch seam allowance just right, it could be off a little bit. So another option, I'm going to zoom out. Another option, so I still have my gingerbread boy selected, I could use this blue line. So I was lining up this brown line, which is the edge of the gingerbread boy. If I use this blue line and I put it against the placement and tack down of our main fabric, which is this outer line, I'll click outside so you can see it better. So this orange outer line, that's the placement and tack down of our main fabric. If I use this blue line, which is a placement guide, and I put it against our placement and tack down of our main fabric, let's see what that looks like. So I'm going to click on just the gingerbread boy, and I'm just going to click on the stitching and move it down to the placement and tack down of the main fabric, that outer line. All right, I'll click outside so you can see it. So we're right on that. All right, and now what that does is we've got our satin stitching of our gingerbread boy. He comes out about 1/8 of an inch from our batting placement. So he'll go into our seam allowance just a tiny bit, which just gives us a little bit more wiggle room. So I think that's what I'm going to do. If your seam allowance is exactly perfect, you could line your gingerbread boy up with this batting line, which is this orange one in here. Or like I said, you can use this placement guide to put it right on the outside, the last line, which is the placement and tack down of our main fabric. You can place them on there, and you can see, I'll zoom in a little bit. Let me move the crosshair so you can see where I'm trying to show you. So see, this is our placement right here, this inner orange line. This is the placement and tack down of our batting. This outer orange line, which has the blue on it now, is our placement and tack down of our main fabric. You can see that this comes out just about 1/8 of an inch. And so that's just, like I said, it's giving me a little bit of wiggle room, plus it's keeping everything inside of the hoop. So I'm going to move to this other part that has the other part right there. So see how this is going, this one is angled, and so this just gives me a tiny little bit of wiggle room to make sure that it's in the seam, all right? So that part, and they did that on that gnome pillow. I remember like the legs or something we sewed into the seam. And so that's what I'm going to do here with this ginger girl or ginger boy. So you can choose, again, you can choose to have it right on the batting line and get your seam allowance exactly right, or you can have it over a little bit. I think that was the purpose of this blue line, but I'm not absolutely sure. But they do have this blue line here as a placement guide. So I'm putting that on the outer line, which is the placement and tack down of the main fabric. I'm going to put it on there, and then the little tiny bit of satin stitching will be in my seam just to give me a little wiggle room to line it up just right. So that's what I'm going to do. I think that looks really good. I'm going to show you a couple of things in here. So this first one of the embroidery design, the ginger boy, that one, like I said, that blue line, that is to help us place him. All right, and then the second one, this one goes right to the hoop. And when I have it on my placement of the batting, it goes over my hoop. So then you would have to switch to, depending on your hoop size. Like this one, it says my design is for just under 5 by 6 and 15/16. So this one, it does fit. So it depends on your brand of machine and your actual hoop size. It may be a little bit too large, and if so, then you'd have to switch to a 6 by 10 hoop. But it does fit. It's just right on or even over the hoop just a tiny bit, but it does work at this line. So we won't need that. So while you're in here, you can hit delete for this. I'm going to keep it so I remind everyone to bypass it. We definitely don't want to stitch it since we're doing our quilting in the hoop. but these two are for placement purposes. So that one's part of the design. We want that. So it's just those first two parts. And like I said, once you get it situated how you want it, you could delete those two if you want. I'm going to keep them in so I can remind people to bypass them. So once you get it situated how you want it, like I said, I've got mine on the outermost line, which is the placement and tack down of our main fabric in the quilting design. So then you want to do a save as. So file, save stitch file as, and I'm in Whisk right now. Let's get back to Ginger's Kitchen. There we go. And embroidery files, Pez. And I'm going to name this. I got to get back to Pez. Let's see. Hold on. Right there. All right. I'm going to name this 5x7 Ginger Boy Fix because I moved him to where I want him to be. All right, and my machine's not on right now, so I will send it after I turn on my machine, or you can save it to a USB stick. But again, you decide where you want your Ginger Boy and just how perfectly your 1/4 inch seam allowance is. I'm going to give myself the tiniest bit of wiggle room. I think he's going to be so cute. And we will have to remember, so in the directions, the gingerbread boy is turned. You could flip them right now. I'm not going to do that because then it'll mess everyone up on the tutorial. They'll be like, why is hers over there? So we're just going to sew it that way. It'll be easy to do. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And my shirt today, this is an old one that I really like. It's funny because you can't even really see all the parts of it, but it says I washed up like this, and there is a mermaid, and it's just a little like triple stitch mermaid, so you can't even barely see it. I should have done it in a darker color, but I've always loved this shirt, and it's one of my favorite shirts. It's from Amazon. It's a really good one to embroider on. I will add a link here to my Amazon storefront, and there is a link, and it shows the shirt there, and it comes in several different colors. The design, I believe it was from Hoop Mama several years ago. I'll add all that information underneath this video. How are you doing with your goal? So I have a good one today. I saw this on Facebook and I thought it was really cute and really good. So we're going to use the word today of life tips, the couple words, life tips. It's actually called Life Tips from Grandma. So here we go. Ready? Don't go where you're not invited. Don't talk about what you don't know. Don't open the fridge in other people's house. I love that one. I know people that do that, and I think it's so odd to me. It's like, that's not something we ever did in our household at other people's house. But anyway, don't call someone after 9 o'clock. Don't visit someone at lunchtime. Don't enter other people's bedroom without permission. That should be pretty obvious. I've actually had that happen though, and it's weird. They left all the drawers open like they were looking for something. It makes you feel violated. It's just weird. So just these to me are like common courtesy, but some people don't know, so it's really good to put it out there. Always flush the toilet when you use it. Always speak the truth. That's the biggest one for me. You know me, integrity is the most important thing in my opinion. So always speak the truth. Please and thank you are good words. Use them often. Love the soul of people, not their physical. It is what is inside that matters. That might even be more important than integrity. I think that that's super important. I'm going to read it again. Love the soul of people. In other words, love their heart, not their physical. It is what is inside that matters. Isn't that good, right? Yeah, people can be fake, and their soul will always be truthful. So love the soul of a person, their heart. All right, be kind to your fellow humans and all living things. Absolutely, animals especially, in my opinion. Give from the little you have, expect nothing in return. That's a hard one. So we've had a lot of discussion in our embroidery group about giving to people that are not grateful, and here you've worked on something really hard, but that it's true, right? You give something without an expectation that they're going to like it, they're going to be grateful. None of that. You just give from your heart. Be conscious of your words. They matter. That is really important. So they say that 100 people can tell you you're wonderful and all these wonderful things and point out good points, and then that one negative is the one that you remember and the one that hurts. And so that is important to remember, that your words really do matter. Wake up and be grateful. Absolutely. Every day there is something to be grateful for. Every day there is blessings. Pray daily, because prayer brings peace to our heart and soul. So those are life tips from Grandma. They're good ones, right? Tell me which one is your favorite. I want to hear it in the comments.